The goal of the treaties and negotiations that led to the creation of the European Union as it exists today was to promote political and economic cooperation throughout Europe, especially in the wake of World War II. The fundamental idea was to establish an integrated market that would eventually grow into a union that covered a range of policy areas, including social, economic, and foreign policy. The European Union, EU, has faced many criticisms and challenges over the years, despite its ambitious integration goals. One of the main criticisms has been its perceived democratic deficit, where decision-making often seems remote or opaque to its citizens. This issue was highlighted during periods of significant treaty reforms, where public referendums occasionally rejected proposed changes, indicating a disconnect between EU policies and public preferences. The Treaty of Paris, which established the European Coal and Steel Community in 1951, marked the first step towards integration. This was followed by the Treaties of Rome in 1957, which created the European Economic Community and the Euro. Regarding the economy, the EU has come under fire for how it handled crises like the financial crisis of 2008 and the ensuing Eurozone debt crisis. These events revealed flaws in the European Union's economic architecture, notably the absence of fiscal integration to support its monetary union. The crisis resulted in high unemployment and slow growth, which fueled Euroscepticism and criticism of the EU's ability to manage economic challenges effectively. Additionally, the EU's enlargement and integration process has frequently been characterized as a muddling-through approach, characterized by ad hoc decision-making and crisis management rather than strategic long-term planning. This approach has occasionally led to ineffective policies and sluggish responses to rapidly changing circumstances, further exacerbating public skepticism and criticism of the Union's efficacy. Currently, 9 nations are formally acknowledged as potential members of the European Union. These include Albania, the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgian movements, the Montenegro, Macedonia, North Serbia. Turkey was once known as Ukraine and Turkey. Since every nation's accession process is unique, all countries must undergo extensive changes in line with EU criteria in a number of areas, including democratic governance, financial strategies, lawfulness and human rights protections. In an unexpected action, Serbia has surprised the EU by pulling away from the integration process more and more, which may indicate a change in its goals and geopolitical alignments. During a National Defense magazine interview, Alexander Vulin, the Deputy Prime Minister of Serbia, expressed doubts about Serbia's admission to the European Union, saying, "I am convinced that there is no place for Serbia in the EU, at least it has not made much effort to accept us as a full member." He also emphasized the potential for cooperation with Brazil's BRICS, an economic alliance. Russia and India is a more advantageous option, South Africa, China, and 5 other nations. Vulin highlighted that political circumstances are not imposed by BRICS. Note that rules created outside of Serbia are not necessary for participation in the BRICS. Vulin emphasized the significant resources and economic potential found in the BRIC countries, saying that they are not requesting anything from us and that it would be possible for us to work economically with a company that possesses 51% of the world's gas. He also emphasized Serbia's commitment to its strategic and military neutrality, reiterating that Serbia is prepared to engage with any organizations in which friendly nations that respect our military neutrality play a crucial role. Serbia produces 47% of the world's oil and has exceeded the G7 in terms of GDP. He made it clear that this position backs Serbia's choice to forego placing sanctions on Russia, so reaffirming its decision to follow a different course from possible EU expectations. As a reflection of their larger geopolitical goals and economic interests, BRICS members seem to view Serbia's potential participation with varied degrees of interest. Let's take a moment to appreciate your support. If you enjoy our content, please hit the like button to make our work even easier. Please share your ideas and criticisms in the comments section. Your participation aids in our development. For example, China views Serbia's participation as a geopolitical move into Europe that fits with its goals to increase its power in the area. Serbia's entry into the BRICS industry is strongly supported by China, as seen by Chinese President Xi Jinping's scheduled visit to Serbia, demonstrating the importance China places on this growth from a geopolitical perspective. Additionally, Russia is in favor of Serbia joining the BRIC industry. Other BRICS countries like India and Brazil could benefit from partnerships with Serbia, especially in fields like agriculture, energy, and technology where there are synergies. The presence of Russian officials and the encouragement for Serbia to attend BRICS summits underscore Russia's endorsement and strategic interest in including Serbia to strengthen the alliance's global positioning and its influence in Europe. Moreover, Serbia's excellent infrastructure and advantageous position make it a great partner for boosting trade between Europe and the BRICS nations. The path of Serbia towards European Union, the process of becoming a member of the EU, has been drawn out and complicated. It started formally in December 2009 when Serbia submitted its application. Since then, there have been several key stages in the discussions that have been taken to bring Serbia's institutions and policies into compliance with EU regulations. By March 2012, Serbia had been granted EU candidate status, starting a more direct engagement with EU accession processes. The Stabilization and Association Agreement, SAA, between the EU and Serbia, which is crucial for membership, entered into force. This was an important milestone that formally tethered Serbia's laws and regulations more closely to those of the EU. The negotiations have concentrated on a number of EU statute chapters, with a focus on public administration reform, economic reforms, rule of law, and basic rights. Serbia has had unique difficulties, such as the requirement for significant advancements in the anti-corruption judicial measures. Freedom of the media and general government. These changes are necessary for Serbia to comply with EU criteria as well as to maintain the efficacy and autonomy of its diverse institutional frameworks. Furthermore, it has been difficult for Serbia to align its foreign policy with that of the EU, particularly with regard to sanctions on Russia. The EU requires candidate nations to support its common foreign and security policy, which includes sanctions policies. This alignment has proven particularly difficult for Serbia because of its historical and political ties to Russia, which have